Hi everyone, this is Shaya Lyon with the Live Music Project, and we're here today at the Plymouth Congregational Church. We are about to enter an organ with Susanna Valleau, the organist, who's performing next week. So I'm going to turn it over to her now, and she's going to take us into the sanctuary.
Hi guys, come on in. So here we are at Plymouth in this beautiful space that they've renovated, and this beautiful organ that was finished about last year. They put in new beautiful Italian tiles. They got rid of the pews and put in cathedral seating so that it can be moved around into any configuration. And of course the biggest part of that whole project was removing the organ that they had and putting in this beautiful instrument. And this instrument was built by Fisk, a company from Gloucester, Massachusetts. And I don't know exactly how long it took them to build it, but there are about 3,400 pipes that each needed to be hand formed.
Wow.
And then hand tuned. As well as all of the woodworking. For example, there's things called toe holes where the pipe actually sits. So 3,400 toe holes had to be drilled at least, and the console needed to be built, and it's really a feat of incredible craftsmanship. So thank you for joining me today. Come on to the console. We're really lucky that this organ is front and center, because a lot of times organs are, shoved in the back or behind some other things, and here you can see everything that's happening. This organ is in a French Romantic style. That's why the console is kind of curved and the stops are curved out. As you can see, it's a 3-manual organ, so each of these keyboards is called a manual, and each manual has different sound options. So when I sit down, I'm kind of like an orchestrator. I'm thinking about what sounds I want for each piece. So all of these stops over here control the top manual, which is called the swell. And you can see there's a lot of really cool names. Viola da gamba, for example, was inspired by the Baroque viola da gamba. You can hear it. It's very stringy. Oh, so beautiful. Or a corde de nuit is just a very beautiful flute stop. Or a louder flute. Another really beautiful sound. So 2 flute options on that one manual alone. I saw that Shaya had given a close-up of all these buttons. These look really intimidating, but they're actually incredibly useful. So when, for each piece, I can choose all of my own sounds, and then these buttons are basically a computer, so you can set each sound for everything that you've just done. So, for example, if I press number 1, it's going to sound like this, or number 2, number 3, right? So. It also allows me to change sounds at a moment's notice. And this plus that you can see in a couple different places, that's called a sequencer. So when I press a plus, it just goes from number 1 to number 2 to number 3 to number 4, all in order. So I'm not constantly searching for what number I need to hit next. And then the last thing I want to show you at the organ are these things called couplers. So on this organ, like I said, this is called the swell. This is the positif. This is the grand orgue. I can couple the sound options, the stops from this swell and the positif all the way down to the grate. So if I sit down for a second, if you just look at my hand pressing a note, it takes about that much force just on one sound on the grate. If I couple the positif to the grate, look at how much more force I have to use. I don't know if you can see it, but I can feel it. And then coupling the swell in, it's even, now I'm feeling it all in my arm. I'm kind of pressing with my whole whole body. When you're playing really loud and really fast, it can get very exhausting to press so hard. The Fisk organ builders have developed this incredible thing called assisted coupling. It's a coalition lever. Steve Coalition works for Fisk. And what it does, we'll show you inside in a moment, but there's little puffs of air, little bellows on each key that take away the weight of all of the coupling mechanism. So now I can play forever. All those things are still engaged, but it's super light now. So let's go see what that looks like.
Let's go in.
Let's go in. Okay.
Guys, I'm going to tell you this coolest thing is about to happen. One of these panels is a secret doorway. Are you ready? Here we go.
Come on in.
What?
This is such an incredible space in here. We're technically still inside the sanctuary, but we're really inside the organ case now. And it's so cool in here.
Just give them a minute
Yeah,
to look
yeah.
around. Okay, we're gonna just walk through this.
These are pipes that you're looking at now. You can show them the mouse down there. That's where the sound comes out of. Those are 32 feet high.
Whoa. So for contrast, can you put your hand next to that? That's how
I have
big
pretty big hands.
the air is coming out of that hole.
Yeah.
It's like a whistle.
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly right.
This
That's
tall.
32 feet tall. I don't even know if you can see all the way up
No,
there.
you can't see all the way up there. You get the idea. There's more. Another secret door.
So these are those little pockets of air that I was just telling you about that take away all of the, well, that make it easier for me to play loudly on that bottom keyboard. And when I go back to the console, I'll play some stuff for you. But just so you have some things to look for, all of these, metal? I don't even know what material that is. Metal, brass. These are called trackers. And so this organ is called a tracker organ, which means that there is a direct mechanical linkage through all these trackers from where I play at the keyboard to actually opening up the pipe. So my finger physically controls the pipes that are opening.
Wow.
And you can just keep going down there and see now you're looking at the ground, and so there's trackers everywhere. They go under the floor and then up to the highest pipes.
Wow.
So probably these are the pedal trackers. That would make sense to me since they're on the ground.
They're so intricate. If we could magic school bus this, it would be amazing.
And then if you could just come over here, there's more trackers. Right now I'm directly behind the console, so each of these trackers is running from the keyboard up to a pipe. And then up here you see these long metal tubes. Those are called roller boards. So again, the trackers go to the roller board, and the roller board just transfers the action to wherever the pipe is. So obviously not all the pipes can be directly in back of the keyboard, so the roller board makes it possible for me to open the pipes that are incredibly far away.
There they are.
You see some?
Wow. Super cool.
Yeah, it is super cool. It's brilliant. And seeing this really makes you appreciate that the organ is not just, I don't know, it's not just a musical instrument, it's really a machine. And real craftsman made this. It's so cool.
Wow. Can you tell us a little bit about the wires that we see here and there? What's the role of the computer?
Okay, so like I was saying, there's tracker action on the keys. So when I'm playing, I'm moving all this stuff mechanically. This has a, let me just double check my words, because I think I saw it over here. Solid state, I think it's called solid state, is the combination action, and that means the stops are controlled through computers, I think. And again, the computer allows me to save the sounds that I've chosen, so that I can recall them really quickly, and I don't have to do that all by hand.
Wow. And I just want everyone to see how beautifully this is installed, because this is not that different from what might be inside your computer, but normally it doesn't get a beautiful wood frame when it's on your computer. And here they've really made an effort to make this all this mechanics look beautiful. I think that kind of honors the music that comes out as well.
Definitely, yeah.
And it's probably convenient that it's accessible as well.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to get inside a big box now to change one of these little circuit boards.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's that. What's next?
Yeah, well, come over here. Let me just show you up close some of the pipes. Again, Fisk did not have to do this. They could have just covered this with wood, but they made this beautiful plexiglass window so that we can actually see what's happening. This is a reed pipe, and the way that it speaks is the air comes out through this hole down there. When I open the pipe, the wind rushes in to this box, and it forces the it's either called a tongue or a shallot. Maybe it's the same thing. To vibrate against the thing that's behind it.
Yeah.
And that's what actually makes the sound. I will go play that for you, and it's going to be really loud, but it's really amazing. And then another thing to look for is at this bellows. This is a 32-foot reed, which needs a ton of air, and so they've installed a bellows just for this one stop. So let me go play that.
Let's hear it again.
So I don't know, to me it sounds so silly. But it's a great effect. It's a great effect when you use it properly. It's amazing. Next, let me show you some of the tracker action.
Okay.
In action. So I'm going to play on the bottom keyboard, the Grand Org, and then I'm going to couple all of the sounds from the middle manual onto the bottom manual, so you can see what that looks like. And then I will engage that assisted coupler, so you can see the bellows dancing.
Okay.
So this is the Grand Org.
The Grand Org.
And now I'm adding the sounds from the positive to the Grand Org.
All right, should I head to the mini bellows?
Go to the mini bellows.
All right, we're going to the mini bellows. ready. Can you give us a little more mini bellows? That's just so fun.
Yes. Let me actually play something so we don't embarrass myself. Improvisation. Lack of skills. Let's see.
That was awesome. Everyone should have mini bellows in their home.
Pretty cool.
Really cool. Amazing. Who even knew all that was behind this already pretty gargantuan situation here?
So what you're looking at right now, we call it the facade, and it's just that. It's just a facade. You might be able to see through the screen some of the pipes that are behind. Like I said, there's 3,400 pipes in this instrument. So the facade is really just a preview and a beautiful display of all the pipes that are really behind there working hard.
Thank you for the tour of the inside.
Of course, yeah.
We have a few questions from readers. The first question is, okay, so there's a lot going on here.
Yep.
There are a lot of, this is not like a piano where there's one row of keys, and where there might be 3 pedals there. Here are how many pedals?
Well, there's two and a half octaves. Each of these is a note. You can see the same order of groups of 2 black notes and groups of 3 black notes. It's a piano. You just play it with your feet.
It's simple.
Simple.
So when you started learning to play, did you start with a limited set of pedals and stops? Where did you begin?
Well, I started when I was 17, so I was tall enough to reach everything. With younger kids, sometimes they'll have these pedal extenders that you kind of put onto the pedals, and you only do the limited ones. You know, if you only are playing C and G, then you'll only extend C and G so that you can reach them. But for me, playing the pedals was definitely the hardest because you have to balance yourself in a different way. You can't, use your feet like you do on a piano to kind of anchor yourself. You don't have an anchor because everything is moving around. So getting that coordination down was the most difficult for me, but I started with the full pedal board.
Did you play piano beforehand?
Yeah, I had played piano for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that seems like a good start.
Yeah, very helpful.
The second question is from John in New Jersey. John wants to know, I'd be curious to know what tuning system is used. Do modern organs use equal temperament or something more traditional?
That's a great question, and I'm just always reminded of just because you play the organ doesn't mean you know everything about it, or like just because you can use a computer doesn't mean you can build a computer. They're kind of similar to me. I know a little bit about tuning systems, and I can answer the question on a very surface level. It's up to the organ builder. I don't think this is an equal temperament. Charles Fisk, who started this company, I know he personally developed 3 different tuning systems, but I couldn't tell you what they are. And I know a number of other organ builders have also developed their own tuning systems. A lot of builders that are, for example, building in a North German Baroque style will use a quarter comma mean tone tuning that the North German Baroque people would have heard to imitate their or to continue on the creating that from you know, that experience. I'm not saying that very articulately, but hopefully you understand.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a lot of these sounds mimic other instruments, and so it would make sense that you would want the sounds to mimic the instruments of the type
period.
Of music you're
Yeah,
trying.
yeah, definitely.
Okay. Neat.
Sorry, that's my surface answer.
Well, you have a concert coming up
I do.
next weekend.
Next week, next Sunday.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
I do. I am so excited to share this music with everybody. The pieces that I've chosen, I love. I love every single piece. I believe in each piece 100%. And I've chosen them to really show off the instrument because it's hard to say, or it's unfortunate, but not every instrument looks as beautiful as this or sounds as beautiful as this, and it's a very big instrument which has a lot of color. And so I want to be able to show off all the color possibilities that this organ can make, the sounds that it can make. So I didn't just stick with French romantic instruments or music, which is most ideal for this instrument because it can play a lot more than just French romantic music. I'm starting with a piece by Arvo, who has spent most of his life in Germany, but he was born in Estonia. And then I'm going to play a Bach piece, a trio sonata, which I just love, and it's so hard. It's so hard, and I love it so much.
What's hard about it?
Trio sonatas are hard because in the Baroque time, trio sonatas would have been played with 2 melodic instruments and 1 basso continuo. But now I'm doing everything, so I really have to listen to my right hand, and I have to listen to my left hand, and I have to listen to the pedal. And when I play some things, I'll play part of the trio sonata, and I'll tell you why. I'll kind of show you why it's hard. And then I'm going to play a piece by Pamela Decker, who's alive today, alive and well. She's a professor in Arizona, and I met her last year at an organ convention, and she had heard me play a piece by another contemporary composer. And she told me, you know, if you like playing contemporary music, you really should play something of mine. So here I am playing something of hers, and it's really cool. It's based on an ancient chant, but she does very modern, cool things with it. And then I'm going to play the piece she heard me play by a contemporary composer, E Gawthrop, and it's called 4 Noble Gases, and it's based on 4 of the 6 noble gases. So you'll hear neon, argon, krypton, and xenon, and they're so cool. They're really cool. And then I'm going to end with the one French romantic piece on the program by Charles Tournemire, and you'll get to hear a lot of sounds from this instrument that are really authentic. So
cool.
Yeah, so I love it. I'm really excited.
Thanks for bringing us along for the ride.
Thank you.
Where's the best place for us to listen? Or should we just walk around?
Yeah, why don't you walk around? So before you get too far, let me start playing a little bit of the Bach Trio Sonata. Another thing that's really hard about playing the organ is that what I hear at the console is not what you're going to be hearing in the room, because you can see all the pipes are right on top of me. A lot of them are inside of the room that we were just in. So the sound goes over my head and shoots into the room. So it's hard for me to hear balance.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with the first movement of the Bach Trio Sonata. And let me just show you something. So there's 16th notes in the pedal at one point. And I want you to watch my feet. Again, I'm not sure how this will translate through the internet, but when I press a note, I don't exactly hear it right away. Shaya, maybe you can confirm that you hear at least one sound, but then the rest of it kind of blooms. So when I'm playing 16th notes, it's challenging to hear everything. And you can hear a lot of the mechanics, right? You can hear those trackers moving and me slapping my foot on the pedal. But it's hard to kind of keep it together because the hands sound a lot more immediate. You don't have any of that, you don't have to wait for it to fully bloom. So let me play a little bit. I'm still working on it, so be kind in your judgment. But here we go.
We heard a lot of the mechanics.
You
inside.
heard a lot of the mechanics.
Yeah.
Good.
And the sound, which was great.
Yeah, well, you can hear the sound when you come next week, but it's so cool to actually be able to be in there. I want to play for you my favorite movement from the Arvo part. This is called Annum per Annum. It was written for the 900th anniversary of the Speyer Cathedral in Germany. 900 years of doing daily or weekly masses. And it starts out with this block of sound. And I'm not going to play that for you, and then the instruction is for the organ to be turned off. The blowers are supposed to be turned off, but I'm going to keep playing. So you're going to hear the mechanics, but you're also going to hear these incredible harmonics that happen when the pipes don't get enough air because their wind supply is being depleted. It's so cool. And then after that block of sound dying into nothing with these really cool harmonics, comes this.
Wow, that is so different. I love it.
Yeah, pretty cool. That one, it was written for 2-foot flutes. So what that means, you'll see all these numbers on the stop knobs, 4, 2, 16, 8. That's the length of the lowest pipe. So 2-foot flute is going to be tiny. It's kind of like a piccolo, right? It's tiny and high. But you'll see that I have the 4-foot flute pulled, because for me that sounded nicer. It matched the idea that I had in my head better than the 2-foot did. And so I'm just playing it up an octave to create the same effect. So there's lots of little tricks for the organ.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And playful.
And playful, yeah. That's very cool. Do we have time for one more?
Sure.
From the Four Noble Gases, let me play Argon.
All right. Should we head back again to the middle or just hang out around here?
It's up to you. Maybe stay here since they'll be able to see me, see the back of me from afar when they're here. For Argon, remember how I told you about that sequencer, the plus? My right foot is going to be on the plus, changing some sounds. So, not for a little while, but let's see how this goes. that's Argonne. So
Thanks,
cool.
Susanna.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Do you want to tell us a few details about when the concert's happening?
The concert is next Sunday, September 18th, 2 o'clock at Plymouth Congregational downtown in Seattle.
Thanks for hanging out with us and showing us inside and outside this beautiful, beautiful instrument.
Thank you. It is beautiful, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you. We'll see you Sunday.
Thank you.